everybody, and welcome to Action and Adventure, the Hasbro Universe podcast. I'm your host, Daniel.
And I'm your other host, Callum.
And today, we are here to bring you everything about the Hasbro Universe in the IDW comics. We got news, we got San Diego Comic-Con announcements, and of course, as always, we have a bunch of comics to react to. And this episode is coming out a week late. We are aware. There was some scheduling conflicts with me and Callum. I went on a trip. He had some stuff to do. So ultimately, we couldn't get an episode out to you last week. But we're making it up for it now, and you will get a new episode next week. Unless you're listening to this in the future, in which case, we're past this episode, and as such, this announcement means absolutely nothing to you.
I think first we're going to talk about the October Solicitations, which came out last week. Yeah, there you go. It was last Wednesday, wasn't it?
Yes, IDW has revealed their releases for the month of October 2017, some of which we had some advanced previews for, but some of which are getting revealed for the first time. So let's go through here. First off, we have First Strikes number 5 and 6, which will be bringing the First Strike event to a close. We get a few more hints about what this story will entail, particularly in First Strike number 6, which will see a conflict between Optimus Prime and Ielita 1.
Yeah, I do particularly like on First Strike 5 the cover C that's just sort of Scarlet falling into just like a pool of gunk, apparently. Like, I'm interested to find out quite what the context for Scarlet falls into a pool of gunk is.
Yeah, it looks like some sort of acid, because you kind of see like a burn on one of her arms.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, is that like that pit of... Does Cybertron have one of those like pits of acid like Unicron had in the 86 movie? Just a random acid.
I suppose back during Windblade, like, there were all the sort of Metroplex's kind of like Energon kind of sluices and stuff, where like Waspinator had a little bar, and they fought the Terracons. So yeah, I guess it could be sort of down in the sort of bowels of the city, maybe, or just like underground. Yeah.
Now, what's interesting is like with number 5, cover B, which is one of the Max Dunbar covers, which will have this sort of widescreen kind of, I really like these covers, by the way.
It's kind of a neat theme to them, isn't it?
Yeah.
You got
but it has Optimus, Soundwave, and pretty much like his Earth team and Scarlet on the top image, and then below they have Ielita, Starscream, and Windblade, and what appears Obsidian and all that. So it's basically sort of the cast of Till All Are One and the cast of Optimus Prime that are kind of going to be going against each other, and it kind of makes sense, like, because Alita's whole plan, as revealed in these solicits, is that like her thing is, we're going to stop these humans' plot to kill all the Cybertronians by killing all the humans. And obviously that's not... And obviously people like Starscream and Obsidian would probably go along with that plan. I'm curious, though, if that plan is going to get established in this issue, if like Windblade and Ironhide are kind of going to turn on Ielita at that point. Because that does not seem something like Windblade would be cool with, killing all the humans on Cybertron, even if it is just... a couple Joes and the villains.
Yeah, I was going to say, would that not be mostly Cobra? But then I suppose that preview for the first issue suggests that there's like press and sort of guests and everything there for the for the kind of ceremony, and I guess they won't have left. So yeah, I guess that would include all them. So yeah, no, it wouldn't just be killing a bunch of like Cobra goons.
Yeah. And it'll, that's the thing. I'm assuming that Cobra has some plan to take out the space bridge on.
True. Yeah.
That way, no Cybertronians can escape, to Earth, because all that. So, plus, I mean, there's, the Joes are there, and, the Joes are Optimus's pals, hopefully, by this point. But yeah. But yeah, we get some hints towards what's going to happen with 5 and 6. And I do like how it teases Optimus Prime and Scarlet must save the day. It's like, yeah, working together. Love it. We also have the Transformers First Strike one-shot, which is really more like the Revolutionaries First Strike one-shot.
It literally was titled as Revolutionaries First Strike in the checklist in First Strike 0. But yeah, I guess they renamed it just for kind of marketing reasons.
Oh, most certainly. That's.
But yeah, this and the other one-shots had been advance solicited, but the B cover, the Guido Greedy cover, we hadn't seen before. And yeah, that's a big deal because it reveals that, a certain Action Man character is returning for the issue. Well, both issues, I assume, this and the Optimus Prime one, that's the first half.
Yes.
But yeah, it's our boy Colditz from the Action Man miniseries.
Oh, love Colditz. He looks so cool. Like, he was barely in Action Man, but it's like he has such a cool design that it's like you can't help but really like it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he's actually going to do.
Well, because the solicits suggest he kind of kidnaps one of the revolutionaries, I think, yeah. Which I assume he kidnaps Action Man, because he, electrocuted him half to death and got him stuck in a prison cell. Yeah.
So, what's interesting, though, is Colditz was an agent of Dr. X in the Action Man mini, which, for those of you who haven't read Action Man, go and read the Action Man trade paperback. It's so good. Yeah. But it's one of those things where we haven't really seen much of Dr. X in any of the other stuff. For we've seen Storm Shadow, who was working in the Red Shadows. And we've seen Baron Ironblood, but we haven't really seen much of Dr. X on any of the First Strike covers. So I'm wondering what's going to happen with Dr. X between where we are currently with Revolutionaries and First Strike, and is she going to be sticking around?
Yeah, it's odd. Kind of, she's definitely kind of conspicuous by her absence, because basically all of the other kind of top tier villains are around.
Yeah,
I mean, it could just be that they decided she wasn't enough of a sort of A-lister to sort of be in the cast, and she was who they decided to not have around. But one does worry slightly for her safety at the end of Revolutionaries.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like every Revolutionaries villain has shown up on the covers with the exception of her and, I want to say, Ironclaw?
No, I don't think he's been on them. No.
Yeah, but aside from that, Storm Shadow, Baron Ironblood, General Blitz, they're all there, so... Oh, and another thing about this one shot, it's got my boy Centurion in there.
Yeah, no, that's nice.
My new favorite character. It's amazing what a simple train transformer design will do for me. It really is.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, these two one shots, because this one just has, in terms of Transformers Cup, Centurion and RC on. But I think the first part suggested, well, I guess it's an Optimus Prime one-shot, so you'd expect Optimus Prime to be in it. But it's interesting that these have got you can have Optimus Prime and your RC who are in the main First Strike mini in them, because in contrast, I think the other one-shots are going to focus on the people who aren't really in it, in the main series, the Mask G.I. Joe one, I think, is the G.I. Joes who aren't in the main series versus Venom who aren't in the main series.
Yeah.
So I assume this will just have to squeeze in between issues somewhere for Optimus Prime and RC.
Well, there's also Atomic Man, who was on one of the covers.
Oh, yeah, he was, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, for Optimus Prime. So, assuming... And that's the thing, and Centurion was also on that cover, and Centurion's on one of these covers. So we have to assume Atomic Man is going to play some role in this story.
Yeah.
but he's absent from these covers, so who knows what's going to happen in that regard. I will say, sorry, you go.
I was going to say, yeah, it is nice to see that sort of some of the stuff the Revolutionaries kind of brought into play is going to be kind of sticking around for the time being. Yeah, like Centurion and Atomic Man.
Yeah. Well, and I also love Sarah's cover with Mayday and RC. Like, I feel like they're going to be buds. I feel like they're going to have a similar dynamic to Ian and Cup. Like, just based on that cover. They just look like, oh, they're going to be friends. Yeah. We also got Optimus Prime number 12. Now, Optimus Prime is the only series that is going to be continuing its numbering while also tying into First Strike. And I like that with this issue, they're sort of, they're shoving Optimus Prime, like, and everyone, and a couple of the main cast off to Cybertron. And this story is going to pick up with Jazz, who, as we'll get to later when we talk about Optimus Prime number 9, is still missing. Like, he's run away after his attack piece in Optimus Prime number 8. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. I'm glad that we're gonna still get some more issues of Optimus Prime, even through the First Strike event.
Yeah, no, it's a smart way of doing it, because, judging by the cover that they've provided with the Solicit, at least, they're not even going to be kind of branding this as a First Strike tie-in. And I think it is it's a smart move that, for the people, who are, like, the people who are just reading Transformers and sort of are vehemently opposed to any kind of crossover whatsoever, they can just keep reading Optimus Prime and Lost Light throughout the event, and they've still got an ongoing story that they're not effectively missing a part of. So it's a smart way of doing it, I think, and it's also, and taking Optimus Prime and RC and everyone out of the picture is also going to mean that some of the minor characters will get more focus. Like last month's had the kind of the colonist kind of army kind of gang. Yeah. So it's nice that they're going to be able to get a bit more focus while the A-listers are off playing on Cybertron and the crossover.
Yeah. So. And of course, we have a cover by Casey Collar, which because of course it's a jazz-focused issue, we have to have Casey on here. And we also get a solicit for Transformers Lost Light number 11, which will be continuing the. Let's actually check in on Lost Light. Let's actually check in on the ship that gave this book its title. Like, I know everyone rags on that, but it's still funny to me that it's like 10 issues before we even see the ship that is literally the title of the book. It's like, and Getaway is on the cover, just being a little smarmy bastard
with a getaway star. Which
he has become the thing he hated.
Yeah. Perhaps this is a non-literal cover, because if Getaway really does have getaway stars, that's a bit of a hypocrite there, Getaway, considering your whole thing with Rodimus was that he was kind of an egomaniac.
Yeah.
I mean, just saying. But because this, I believe, it's part kind of 2 of 3 of a sort of Mutineers trilogy. I think Robert has said kind of 10 through 12 is kind of back on the Lost Light without kind of Team Rodimus, so to speak. And this solicit seems to suggest, that at least Riptide and First Aid, who has gotten back to the ship with the Protector bots as of issue 10, are going to be focus characters. And it will be nice if Riptide does something, because he didn't do anything after the end of the Quantum Duplicate story.
Oh yeah.
Because was Riptide in Elegant Chaos in the time travel story? He wasn't, was he?
I don't think so. I mean, my memory is notoriously bad for details like that, but...
he was all, big new character who's just, like, hanging out with all the main characters for no clear reason, and he was kind of around the quantum duplicates thing, and then he's just gone. And what was the point of you, Riptide? Why were you there? Maybe we'll find out now. Well, he's a cool design, I'll give him that. But purple face, that's cool. And yeah, he looks cool, but that's basically all he's done is look cool.
Yeah. So,
they got Rom vs. Transformers Shining Armor number 4.
Yay!
Which, yeah, well, we're not talking about this week. Talking about that this week, but such a good series already.
So good! Oh my gosh! Like, yeah, we'll talk about it. We will talk about that next week in full detail. We'll talk about the first issue. But man, like, I have been hyped for this book since they announced it, and it like still looks so good. You know we have a cover. We just have a cover by Alex Milne, which shows Rom getting pulled in all different directions. Like entangled in by dire rates.
Rom and
with Bumblebee
and Star Drive.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I don't want to talk much about how excited I am for this book, because I feel like it's like that whole ties into the first issue stuff. But yeah, I'm excited. And then let's see, we have M.A.S.K. First Strike. Now this is something that had been previously solicited, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, this and the other two, kind of the First Strike one-shots are October, unsolicited. So yeah, we'd seen this before, so it's the continuation of Venom versus the G.I. Joes who aren't in the main series, which I think is possibly everyone but Scott. Well, actually, no, like that issue 1 preview had like Roadblock and some people in. But judging by the cover here, like Rock and Roll and like Gung Ho say they're going to be in this.
Well, we know Skywarp's going to be in it, so...
Oh, yeah, and true. Because actually, accompanying this solicit is one half of the really cool vertical combining covers.
Yeah, which I'm pretty sure we talked about in a previous episode, which we were like,
I think we did, yeah.
Love it.
Oh, very cool.
But yeah. Can I just say, I don't know, because I don't remember if we talked about this before, but man, oh man, putting the Cobra logo on the Venom agents works so well. Like, it's just such a tiny little thing, but it like really does work well on them.
No, yeah, I'd forgotten that was a thing, but yeah, no, there it is, isn't it? Finally, with this set of solicits, we've got Rom First Strike. Like, I was going to say number 1, but yeah, it's a one-shot, which is the second half of the Rom and the Micronauts crossover one-shot 2-part story thing. And no, I think we've maybe not seen the Nelson Daniel cover before.
Oh no, that's new.
But there's not much particularly to talk about.
It's a cool cover though. Like,
yeah, it's a cool cover.
Nelson Daniel is a really good artist. Like,
yeah, and we'll have something to talk about with him in a minute when we go on to the SDCC news.
Yes,
but yeah, so There's not even a lot to talk about in the solicit text for this issue. There's the dire raids have some kind of tiny thing, but other than that,
they're tiny, they're microscopic.
Oh, and then finally, I guess also solicited is the second Revolutionaries trade paperback, which it's issues 5 to 8. It's pretty straightforward. It's got the retailer incentive cover from issue 5, and it's got the title of issue 6 for some reason.
So yeah, that's all the stuff coming in October. Of course, this past weekend was also San Diego Comic-Con.
Very dramatic.
The huge comic gathering for pop culture and everything, and while there was a ton of stuff, we're only here to talk about IDW and the Hasbro books. And boy, did they have quite the announcements. They had a full First Strike theme, like, it was called the First Strike panel, but really it was just kind of a general Hasbro thing, where they went and basically, they went into sort of, they promoted First Strike. And they talked a little about sort of, how they were like like Marguerite and David Rodriguez, who are writing this series, talked a little bit more about like sort of the creative process and sort of like how they arrived at certain ideas and all that. But a lot of it's kind of stuff that's been covered in interviews before, I think.
Yeah.
The big thing that was announced was more information about the post First Strike Fallout. In particular, G.I. Joe Unmasked, which we knew was going to be written by Aubrey Sitterson, but I wasn't sure if we knew the artist, which we can now confirm is Nelson Daniel, who we were just talking about.
He's been doing Clue, and is now going to be on G.I. Joe Unmasked, which we also learned at SDC is going to be just Matt Tracker joining G.I. Joe, possibly.
Yeah, which I'll be honest,
it's understandable.
You don't want to add the whole M.A.S.K team and suddenly have 4 new characters to this cast. So let's just adding Matt Tracker makes sense. At the same time, Matt is kind of I won't say he's the least interesting member of M.A.S.K, because just by virtue of being the leader, he's more interesting than Brad, but he's still really boring. Yeah,
you question what exactly he could bring to the character dynamic of the book.
Yeah, I would.
Even him being a super amazing bestest engineer ever is kind of a bit redundant when they've got Grand Slam already.
Yeah, so.
We'll see.
Yeah. It does kind of set me up for my M.A.S.K pitch that I've talked about before, which would basically see Matt Tracker getting killed off, and then the whole team has to come together again under the direction of new leader Matt Tracker Sr., the uncle of Matt Tracker. And of course, with this new Matt Tracker, we'd bring in some of the classic characters, and we'd bring in Scott and T-Bob, most importantly.
And then the other big thing we learned about G.I. Joe Unmasked is that, I'm not sure if it's necessarily the first thing they'll fight, but they're going to be fighting Hasbro's Army Ants.
Ants!
When does that toy line date to? I forget.
87, I want to say?
Yes, 1987. Yeah, so it is an 80s thing.
Yeah. So it wasn't, but it lasted a few years. I'm pretty sure, because I even remember knowing what Army Ants toys, which I don't know if that was
okay.
I don't know if that was because of my brother, but even I knew the name Army Ants. So I was like, ooh. So I don't remember.
But
much about
they're
them, but
little kind of. Kind of rubber kind of dealies, aren't they?
Yeah,
They're ants and they're soldiers, and they've got some kind of thing with their kind of whatchamacallits. I forget insect anatomy. Do you squeeze them and it bulges or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they're like these little figurines.
Yeah.
And,
so.
Yeah, they came in blind packs, I think. Honestly, I really dig some of the names. If you go on
oh gosh, I've just come across a list here.
Yeah, it's it's General Patent, Snorkelhead.
There's one called Stalker.
Super
Maybe
secret plot twist.
Stalker has secretly been the ant all this time.
I was gonna say Stalker gets turned into an army ant, but
that works.
But I'm hyped for this. Aubrey is that's the thing. He's proven that he is he doesn't care about realism. He's just gonna go balls to the wall, throw something, and I'm looking forward to G.I. Joe Unmasked. So.
Yeah. It seemed like it's by all impressions, it's basically going to be Aubrey Citizen continuing to do his thing, which has been reasonably enjoyable so far. So yeah, I'm cool with
that. Next up, we have Rom and the Micronauts, which we knew this was coming, but its creative team is Christos Gage and Paoli Villanelli. Not entirely sure how to pronounce it. It's spelled Villanelli though. So,
he of Action Man.
Yeah.
Wait,
so
am I getting right? He did Action Man, right?
I think so.
Or am I confusing? He did Action Man, but then he did the second volume of ROM. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. What's interesting about this creative team lineup, though, is Ryle's not on it. Chris Ryle.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Admitted ROM super fan. Obviously, I'm sure he's still involved in the direction and all that. But it's interesting to see that he's not officially on the creative team anymore. So
yeah, I can only assume it's a sort of time limitations thing.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. So. But it's Christos Gage who was co-writing the book. So, and I've talked to Christos before. He is also a huge ROM fan. Just because that's the thing. Because he's actually a local creator for me. He's North Carolina based. So he had like a signing when the first issue of ROM came out, and great guy to talk to. Great writer. And
cool.
Definitely loves ROM, so I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with him. We also got the announcement of 2 Transformers annuals. The Till All Are One annual, which we knew was coming. This will bring all the plot points of Till All Are One pretty much to an end.
And it will... There's no evidence that it will conclude the Liege Maximo thing, which at this point seems like it could end up going into the inevitable, the unannounced but inevitable Power of the Primes event.
True.
But it's bringing all of the sort of...
It's bringing most of the...
Cybertron-based.
Yeah, it's bringing most, and it's going to feature an election to rule Cybertron between Windblade, Starscream, and Elita 1. So, who will be the new Cybertron president?
That's an interesting. I was a little bit kind of surprised when I saw election. I get it makes sense, but it's not something that kind of has been built towards a sort of an obvious end goal. But it kind of makes sense in hindsight.
Because even Starscream, he became leader of Cybertron because because a Titan was chosen one. And everyone was like, okay, he's the chosen one. That's gonna be I'm looking forward to that. That'll be out in December. And then was it January that they said for the next annual?
I'm not sure there was a date attached to that, at least in the panel report that I read.
Okay. But there is going to be another Transformers annual after the one that we got earlier this year, which will be titled Thundercracker in Starscream the Movie. Thundercracker's making a movie, guys.
Yeah. So
I am so excited.
Oh, wow. I am very excited for this book just because, John Barber's Thundercracker is consistently delightful.
Yes.
And an annual length John Barber comedy issue is just, I can only assume it's going to be an enormous amount of fun.
Yeah, and this, from what I've heard, this is going to sort of fill in some of the backstory for Thundercracker, who is a character that, now admittedly I haven't read everything in the IDW line, but I don't believe he's really gotten a ton of backstory stuff.
Not in terms of kind of pre-war.
Yeah, the thing. So it'll sort of, it's according to John, I've heard him say that this will sort of explore pre-war Thundercracker, and
Okay.
so that'll be.
Because that is interesting. That's an interesting idea. Now I think about it. Because we don't. I'm pretty sure his kind of chronologically earliest appearance in kind of canon is him getting recruited in Megatron Origin.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. It was
I wonder if we are going to learn that he had some interest in the media back on Cybertron. We shall see, I guess.
True. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. And finally, the big thing. We friggin' called it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Coming in December, Visionaries.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it was totally a big surprise that no one saw coming. They confirmed Visionaries after effectively confirming it with the poorly obscured classified stamp in the Revolution First Strike checklist.
Yes. But what's really interesting to me about this is the creative team. So it is going to be written by Magdalene Visaggio, I believe that's how it's pronounced. If I apologize if I got your name wrong. And drawn by Fico Ossio. Now, Fico, we know his art, and I'm so glad to see him continuing on after Revolutionaries. What's really cool, though, is Mags, as the Allspark credits, or Mags, Magdalene Visaggio is a trans woman, is a transgender woman, who previously, her biggest thing was a creator-owned series at Black M.A.S.K Comics called Kim and Kim. And I'm just going to pause right now to say, oh my gosh, you all should read Kim and Kim, because Kim and Kim is great. It is, to quote the back of the book, it is a rollicking, queer-as-fuck action throwdown that's equal parts Cowboy Bebop and Broad City. It is a punk. Okay, it's basically about these two bounty hunters called Kim and Kim, who travel around space collecting bounties while also being punk rock as hell, and they're flat broke, but they're trying to get bounties, and it's sort of their just wacky adventures. And I don't want to spoil too much about the book, but it's go and pick up a trade or read it on Comixology. You will not be disappointed at all. It is a rollicking, just it's it's such a good story. It's if you have any interest in rock and it's it has a very punk rock look about it. It's just balls to the wall insanity. It's everything I love in comic books. And that's the thing. And it's very... Sorry.
I shall have to try it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and it's very visually, very visually stunning. It takes... That's the thing. It's set in space, and it really takes an opportunity. For instance, in the very first issue, there's this intergalactic taxi, right? So it's like a space taxi, but it's shaped like a tractor. It's like a spaceship taxi tractor, and it's being driven around by this salt of the earth kind of farmer guy, and it's I love it. That's the thing. I definitely think Mags is gonna, really be able to do something special with with the Visionaries concept, and I'm super excited for it. Yeah, and that's the thing, and it's also she does a lot. Her work features a lot of queer characters, and I would really like to see that being implemented with the Knights of Prismos. Possibly maybe some some of diversify really diversify the cast of Visionaries. So I'm excited. That's what I really want to see. So I'm excited to see what she does with it. So
Yeah, and like what you were saying just earlier, but I am glad that IDW are keeping Fico Ossio around on something, because...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. His art on Revolution, and now on Revolutionaries, is... Well, it's got even better on Revolutionaries, I'd say.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I'm very glad that, yeah, he's staying around, because, yeah, he's probably kind of, like, my favourite new artist that IDW has picked up on stuff recently.
Yeah. Now, they didn't announce colorist, but I'm hoping Sebastian Chang sticks around.
You assume, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting to note is, and I had this pointed out to me the other day, but Fico is going from drawing a book called Revolutionaries to a book called Visionaries.
No, I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah. So, which almost makes me wonder: are we gonna see good old Cup go to Prismos? Just saying.
Yeah, you do wonder how it's going to... Well, I assume First Strike is going to somehow set up the series, considering all the stuff in the Zero issue about magic.
Yeah, and the talisman being shaped like the like those shapes on the Visionaries chests and all that.
The Oryx, at least. I forget. I think maybe they have different shaped crests, but yeah, it matches the Oryx.
But it matches the Leoric symbol shape, which was also used in that third issue of Revolutionaries.
Yeah,
so
in the hieroglyphics. Yeah,
I feel like that It's Always Sunny picture, like of Charlie when he's in his conspiracy theory mode. It's like I feel like that sometimes when I. But yeah, outside of that, there's pretty much nothing else to really talk about at this panel. Like, except for one.
Yeah, one thing. Big thing.
Oh, I mean, it's not that big. I mean, it's just the fact that Unicron is coming.
Yeah.
In 2018.
So it's going to be after. Oh, what? If you take 2016, I think. No, if you take 2006 as the start, because I think that was when, like, the actual Infiltration 1 came out. They, could have made it 12 years without using Unicron, which is a pretty impressive record for ongoing Transformers fiction.
Oh yeah, definitely, because
Transformers Prime, one season straight there.
Yeah, well, because it'll actually. I think the movies were the longest until this announcement.
True. Yeah,
the movies went
held out.
Went for 10 years. 10 years without using Unicron. Spoiler alert for The Last Night, but BT dubs.
Yeah. But and so I kind of... And whilst this on its own, it's an announcement that Unicron is coming, and I think there was some art showing Unicron, I think, like, starting to eat Cybertron with Earth kind of nearby almost.
Yeah, but was that new art, or was that just...
Oh, true. I didn't recognize it,
I feel like that was... Okay, well, I know they repurposed... there was... one image getting passed around was repurposed straight from the Covenant of Primus, so I wasn't sure if that was new art.
Okay. No, I know the Tallulah 1 annual, they just used one of the covers from issue 1 to represent that, so actually, it could be reused. But kind of in the sort of contextual sense, like, I kind of take Unicron happening as an indication that we're probably looking at kind of the end after 6 years. It's going to be of the sort of the quote-unquote Barberts era of Transformers comics, because if a Unicron story isn't what triggers a sort of full, like, proper, actual soft reboot, new creative team kind of moment, then I don't know what is, frankly.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's definitely the kind of thing that I do feel like it's sort of the end of Phase 2, and I think, we'll be starting Phase 3 of the Transformers books. Though I do have to wonder something. This is Unicron, and Unicron is a very big Transformers thing. But at the same time, if that art is accurate and Unicron's going to be coming to Earth, is this going to be the is this going to be the 2018 event? Is Unicron going to be the thing that happens in 2018 that sort of, that will involve G.I. Joe and Rom and all the other characters?
Oh no, yeah, I've been assuming as much. Yeah, I figure, yeah, Unicron is sort of like Hasbroverse Event 3. I figure, yeah, because it does seem like it's going to involve Earth.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people, the typical kind of people are not going to be happy about that. I don't think. So I actually posted at one point. I was like, it would be hilarious to me just to laugh at all these people if Matt Tracker kills Unicron. And yeah, I hate Matt Tracker. I still want to see it happen, though.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, so... You go.
Yeah. But no, yeah, my assumption is that coming out the other side of a Unicron story, we would see... Well, yeah, I figure that Lost Light and Optimus Prime would finish immediately before it. And then coming out the other side, we'd probably see a new Transformers book with a new writer, I would guess. Like, it feels like that would be the time that it would happen.
Oh, most definitely. The question is, what will happen? What will be the major thing that shakes up the dynamic? Because, for instance, it's one of those things where, are we gonna see Cybertron get eaten by getting consumed by Unicron or something?
Well, I could see that happening.
Yeah. But I'm definitely with you. I feel like a regime change is coming as far as the Transformers titles go. So, the things I could see happening are,
Cybertron getting destroyed, or sort of just, actually, no, because if it just got kind of wrecked up again, they've kind of done that. We have to rebuild Cybertron. So, yeah, I could see Cybertron getting destroyed, and I could see Optimus Prime and Megatron dying.
Yeah. Pull an Armada, and, Optimus and Megatron go in to, finish him off, and they die during that.
Yeah, no, I actually had a few probably a few months ago now when I wrote, actually, because that was before any of this was announced, but a few months ago I wrote that kind of hypothetical pitch for a Unicron story to end the Barbets era, and I'd suggested Optimus Prime and Megatron die fighting side by side to kind of buy everyone else time or something. Yeah. I could see that happening.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I hate to say it, but Optimus and Megatron, they kind of make everything, that's one of the reasons I think that More Than Meets the Eye was so well received, was it didn't have Optimus and Megatron, and then once they added Megatron, it was that was a divisive thing. A lot of people love it and a lot of people hate it, so it's definitely taking them away was definitely a a good thing that helped revitalize the books in Phase 2. So, yeah. Now, what's most interesting to me about this Unicron announcement, though, is the books have always played very fast and loose with, is Primus real? I feel like bringing in Unicron, though, you have to confront that. I mean, because even that the Transformer Salvation book, when they were talking about how Trypticon was the creation of Mortalus, it's or so the legend says. It's even that's not going to totally confirm it. With Unicron here, you gotta address, hey, is Primus real? And I feel like you have to address it, at least.
I think you can get away without doing it, because if you leave things vague, you can have Unicron be some kind of horrific monster from the dawn of time without him being a literal deity. this universe already has Elder Gods by way of Hearts of Steel being brought in. But yeah, I figure he can be just a sort of horrific, like, monster from beyond kind of thing that perhaps inspired the legends of Primus's opposite, as has been alluded to in the past. But I think you could get away with doing Unicron without, making all of religion fact in that continuity. I reckon you could get away with it.
I don't know. I mean, I'm someone who came in, like, I grew up on the Unicron trilogy, so Primus and Unicron, epic battle, it's like, kind of has been ingrained into my head. I remember when I first found out about Primacron, how I was like, lame. I was like, that's just lame. but hey, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we shall see.
It's been long enough that I think this continuity has kind of earned Unicron.
Oh yeah.
It's like, okay, fair enough, rather than, oh god, not Unicron.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's one of those things where we reached that point where there was too much Unicron, where, like, that's saying, because Unicron was such a fixture in the Unicron trilogy, right? And then he was in and then he was part of the universe stuff. And then it was like, it was one of those things where animated, where, I feel like we suffered from Unicron overload. Just as a fandom, as a collective fandom and franchise, and then, like, even Prime brought in Unicron at the end of their first season. It's like, so I feel like our fandom just kind of collectively was like, no more Unicron, and then it's like, okay, we've gone for a solid 12 years without Unicron. Let's do it. So. Also announced, I don't remember if this was announced. I don't believe this was announced at the panel, but it was announced shortly afterwards. Gem and the Holograms is getting a new book coming. When did they say it's coming?
November. It is out November.
Yes. It is going to be titled Gem and the Holograms Dimensions, and is basically going to be a anthology comic set in the Gem and the Holograms universe, where they can basically have a rotating talent pool working on this, and to tell different self-contained stories.
Yeah, so each issue is 2 10-page stories, it would appear.
Yes. And of course, the debut issue, and this is exciting for me because I love her work, is the debut issue is being written by Kate Leth and drawn by Tana Ford, who are, like, Kate Leth, have you read her Patsy Walker Hellcat?
No, I haven't, but it's one of those things where, I feel I should at some point, and I probably will. But yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it.
It's pretty good, and I'm not a huge fan of the Silk character, but I've seen some of Ford's work on the book, and I really like it. So I think she's a really good artist. So, and they're going to be doing a story where the holograms are playing D&D.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, like, so good. What's in, however, like, it doesn't, like, the one thing that is weird about this is the title.
Yeah.
Because it's called Dimensions, but it's all set, like, in the same universe. It's not, like, gonna be, like, a gem multiverse kind of thing, which...
Yeah, it's an odd choice of title, certainly.
Yeah.
Especially coming on the heels of a story that is literally about them going to a different dimension.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, and when I first heard the announcement, Gem Dimensions, I was like, ooh, is this the way that we're gonna finally properly introduce Gem into the main Hasbro universe? Have Gem team up with Soundwave or something, but then it's like, no, so it's like, ugh. I still hope they do that, but
it would be so nice. Sophie Campbell is doing the second of the two stories in the first issue. Yeah, she's writing and drawing a story about the Misfits on a ski trip gone south when Pizzazz's cat is on the loose.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, just a sort of, lost cat caper with the Misfits. Yeah, I'm all in for that.
But yeah, so Jim and the Holograms is going to be coming back. So that will be fun. More Jim to talk about, which means I really have to go back and reread or catch up on trades. So that'll be fun. Oh, and of course, also coming from San Diego, announced a while ago, but like we said, we've been gone. So Hasbro at San Diego Comic-Con released a special exclusive box set of Revolution-themed toys.
Oh, wow. Like, I remember the day this was announced, like, I remember sort of seeing pictures of it, I think, on Twitter first. I think I saw the kind of thumbnail for it. It was an Entertainment Weekly article that revealed it. And just sitting there and, like, not quite being sure it was real life for a while. Because,
See, I first saw it when you tweeted a picture of the Action Man figure, and so I was like, oh wait, oh cool, is that like a Joe Con? Is that like a Joe Club thing or something? And I was like looking at it, and then I like scrolled down and saw the story, and I was like, and I literally dropped my I was getting lunch with my mother at the time. And, I literally dropped my phone on the table and started, did the things where you put your hands up to your mouth and was just like, oh my god, 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 oh. That was literally my reaction. Because 40 years, we have a brand new ROM toy. I mean, I was literally shaking, 40 years. I never, I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. So, alright, so let's go through what is included in this set. So, first off is the big one, the biggest figure in the box is Transformers Thrilling 30 Leader Class Jetfire.
Yeah, I believe it's pretty close. It's possibly exactly the same as the Deco Takara put on it.
Yeah, which is kind of a good thing. I'm actually kind of glad I never got Jetfire now, because it's now I'm gonna get this set, so it's yay, I can get my Jetfire without Chrome.
No one had anything good to say about that Chrome, did they?
Yeah, I mean, it's just we know what, we all have Beast Wars toys. We know what's going to happen to those in 10 years. In less than that even.
That kind of toy dated to sort of Hasbro's weird sort of Chrome fetish period. I feel like sort of 2013 through 2014.
Yeah.
Just Chrome on everything. Those Age of Extinction exclusives that were just entirely chromed deluxe Optimus Prime. Yeah, if it's in a box and it's exclusive, we're putting Chrome on it. God damn it.
Yeah.
It's nice that this is not chromed.
Yeah. But regardless, Jetfire definitely stands out as an odd choice, considering that he literally did not appear in Revolution at all. But I'm thinking their idea was because he was because he's a leader class, and they want to. And that's the thing, because basically this set has one Transformer, a bunch of characters from the other franchises who are all G.I. Joe molds, basically, and then tiny little Micro Machines-esque little figurines of the Micronauts. So obviously you want to try to get the scale as good as possible, but I saw someone suggest the possibility of Thundercracker with Buster, and I can't help but feel like that would have been so much better.
It would have been amazing. But yeah, I think I'm pretty sure you can pin down the logic of it being Jetfire 2. So, one, they wanted a leader class toy to play up the size difference. Two, they didn't want it to be a Titan's Return figure, I guess just because they didn't kind of want to muddy the sort of conceptual waters with Titan Masters. Because if you were opening up Titan's Return figures, Leader Soundwave would be the super obvious choice.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was in Revolution a bunch and he's a really famous character. But so then if you're limiting yourself to non-Titan's Return leaders, it's pretty limited. Ultra Magnus would make literally no sense, and Megatron neither. So basically you'd have like Jetfire or Seeker, and Jetfire is probably the sort of easiest kind of crowd pleaser. Because it is ultimately still a San Diego Comic-Con set, and you do have to sell to a San Diego Comic-Con crowd, which means doing guys that you'll remember from the 80s cartoon, alas. So yeah, I think that's how we got Jetfire. And it kind of works in a way, because this Jetfire design it's the exact Jetfire design that he currently has in the comics, even if he wasn't technically in Revolution.
Yeah. Well, and, it kind of might also be some subtle shade thrown at Harmony Gold.
Actually, it was that G.I. Joe SDCC set that kind of caused the whole ruckus, before.
Yeah. Harmony Gold is stupid, honestly.
Yeah.
I have no qualms about saying that. But what's really cool is the figures that are included with Jetfire. So, like we said, first off, there's Ian Noble, the Action Man himself. Yeah. Like, almost, like pretty much verbatim his IDW, appearance. And
I think it's mostly made out of kind of existing G.I. Joe parts, but they are they are absolute. It's IDW Ian Noble Action Man. It is not any other version of Action Man.
Yes.
And oh my goodness, isn't that exciting?
Yes. So Ian Noble has a toy, which also I will say, we makes 3 times in a row that March Mayhem has predicted a figure.
Or Spark March Mayhem possibly has supernatural powers, because Lio Kaiser done, Overlord done, Action Man done. Yeah,
and we already had Rewind. So it's like so that's the thing. So boom. We also got Matt Tracker from M.A.S.K, which was I'm not sure if the head sculpt was new or if it came from another character, but it was pretty much just the same figure that was released, the same Specialist Tracker figure that was released as part of the 25th anniversary of G.I. Joe line back in 2008, I want to say.
That sounds about right.
But of course, he's given a new head and to represent his IDW incarnation.
Yes.
Which I don't want to spend too long on this, but let's touch on the elephant in the room.
The subject of some controversy in certain parts of the Transformers fandom, to put it neatly.
Yes. And apparently a little bit in the G.I. Joe fandom too. I went on his tank to see what they were saying about it, and it was the same stuff. Needless to say, there are apparently people who are hardcore fans of M.A.S.K who are so upset that Matt Tracker is now a black guy, who apparently didn't know that Matt Tracker's been a black guy for 6 months now? A year?
Well, yes. Well, it easily got me a year since it was announced, hasn't it?
Yeah. So, all I gotta say is, all I have to say to this is, it's not really much of a hardcore M.A.S.K fan, if you ask me.
You do have to wonder, yeah.
Because M.A.S.K has its fan base. It really does. But, any hardcore M.A.S.K fans knew what happened with Matt Tracker. So...
You think.
Yeah, but hey, it's cool. It's an IDW it's IDW version. It's awesome. Because let's face it, M.A.S.K has a lot of problems. Making Matt Tracker black, not one of them.
Nope.
So, we also got Roadblock from G.I. Joe.
Yeah, he's an interesting one, because this is, in fact, the toy is, in fact, the G.I. Joe Renegades Roadblock toy, which was apparently, kind of tooled and kind of ready to release back when that show and toy line were going on, but the toy line got kind of cancelled, finished, whatever, before they could release it. So this is them pulling that out from kind of storage, effectively, and giving G.I. Joe fans the Renegades Roadblock figure they never got, which is it's nice of them.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's the thing, and as I've said before, my Joe fandom is very limited. One of those limits is Renegades. I watched that show when it came out, and I really liked Renegades. So I'm actually kind of interested in now going back and getting, since, because I'm planning on getting the set. I am not going to not have this set because of the next figures we'll talk about. But it's one of those things where if I'm going to have Renegades Roadblock, might as well just get a Scarlet and a Snake Eyes and all that to go along with all my other Revolutionary guys. Yeah. So, yeah. Probably not Duke, though, because Duke's lame.
It's true. It's so true.
Yes.
And then you've got, next, big one for you, we've got Rom.
My boy! My silver boy! He has a toy. I'm so excited. I'm so happy.
And I feel like it's kind of the same sort of deal that led to RC's first ever Transformers toy in Thrilling 30 being based on her original cartoon design. This one, it's based on his original Marvel Comics design rather than the modern IDW design, which is, kind of, you can understand why they've did it, but because this isn't just Revolution box set ROM, it's the ROM toy that everyone's been waiting for.
And it's definitely not like a 1-to-1 with his IDW because of with his Marvel, I meant, because of some of the reused parts and all that. But that's the thing, he's definitely got the much boxier torso.
Everything that's new.
Yeah, the much square head. And, of course, his neutralizer is the classic toy / Marvel Comics neutralizer. Now, I'm curious what you thought of this, Callum, when you first saw it. Because, I saw it and I just saw ROM because, I'm a huge fan of the Marvel series as well. But you haven't read the Marvel series. You're just
no.
So, what was sort of your thoughts when you saw it?
Well, no, it was immediately recognizable as being, sort of classic original flavor ROM and not IDW ROM. And like I was saying just now, I'm cool with it. I understand why it's original ROM, and it's not so different from modern ROM that it ruins the figure for me. So I'm cool with it.
Yeah. So
the one slightly weird thing with ROM is that he kind of ends up with, because of the G.I. Joe figure he reuses parts from, he sort of ends up with cloth thighs.
Yeah.
Which looks slightly weird, but it's not particularly noticeable.
It's just, you can finagle that. The ore, when it formed his armor, was still malleable. So, yeah. And, of course, to go along with ROM, you can't have ROM without a Dire Wraith. I believe outside of some Marvel Hero Clicks, I believe this is the first Dire Wraith action figure.
I think that is correct. Yeah, and this is very much an IDW Dire Wraith, kind of in contrast to ROM. This is through and through an IDW Wraith with their sort of pale blue skin and sort of multiple eyes and scary teeth, as opposed to being a sort of big pink blob. Yeah, and
it apparently reuses parts from a zombie viper, I believe is the figure that
those big sort of tentacle arms, which sort of they sort of work to evoke the sort of wrist spikes and stuff.
And definitely tentacles. And tentacles also are really associated with Dire Wraiths, I think, because not only because in the Marvel series, they had the big, huge tongues that would come out, but also as we've seen, like, from ROM versus Transformers, they tend to favor going for these, like, tendrils and all that to attack their enemies. So it works really well. And it very much evokes the hidden form, the soldier form of Dirge and all that. So very much the IDW. Next we have kind of when this was started out, when this was announced, it kind of an odd man out, but kind of not really. We have Leoric from Visionaries. So this was obvious. This was kind of the odd man out because at the time they had not officially confirmed Visionaries. I mean, we knew it was coming because of our genius detective work, but yes, but that's the thing, because we haven't seen any redesigns or anything from the IDW version of Visionaries. This is pretty much just straight up 80s.
Yeah,
Leoric.
It's cartoon design, pretty much, I think.
Yeah. And it looks really cool. I mean, I haven't gone back to watch Visionaries yet. I will probably do that before the comic comes out. But, I've heard a lot of people complaining that there's no holograms, but, like, that they were not going to manufacture whole hologram stickers just for an SDCC exclusive.
Yeah, they're pretty expensive, aren't they? I gather.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, that probably would have ended up in this set costing, instead of $100, probably would have ended up costing like $200 just for that alone. So. But
I guess because it's almost, there is development costs, I think, with that kind of thing, in addition to just printing them, isn't there?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, but yeah.
So then, the last part of the box set are the little kind of Micronauts, sort of, like you were saying earlier, that they remind me of the little kind of Star Wars Micro Machine figures. They make me think of. Yeah.
So, this is an interesting little collection of figures because they're
there's kind of three categories. I think there's some that are just straight up exact original toys under their original names. There's some that are sort of new characters based, like, reasonably directly on the original toys, and then there's a few that are essentially just kind of name slaps, where they've taken toys from the original names from the original toy line and put them on completely new characters.
Yes. So first off, as far as classics returning, we have a Kroyer, who's pretty much exactly like his original toy.
Yeah, and it's based on his toy design. He's got like the big clamp hands and it's toy.
And, and the little ear things. You know what I'm talking about. Little side wings or something on his face. We also get Biotron and Baron Karza. And those three are pretty much identical to their toy.
They are kind of one-to-one their original toys,
Yes. As far as new thing, but as far as IDW characters, the only other IDW character that gets represented in the set is Space Glider, Fenolo Fi. Outside of that, the rest of the figures are kind of an interesting hodgepodge, because we have Zant, who is based on...
he's an Antron, so he's kind of an orange Antron for some reason.
Yeah. We have Quintilis, who is appears to be based on the green time traveler figure. Then we have Betatron and Gammatron, who are paired with Baron Karza, so they look to be sort of evil robots that work for Baron Karza in this version. And lastly, we have Oberon, who... Oberon was a character in the original Micronauts toy line. That was the name of the Force Commander's horse. Similar to how Baron Karza had Andromeda, the Force Commander had Oberon. And this version of Oberon...
he is just a guy with a big wheel instead of legs.
Yeah, so
yeah, like I was saying, a name slap, essentially,
Yeah.
in grand old sort of Transformers tradition.
yeah, and it's a weird mix. And my only conclusion about this mix is that this is what we're going to see in the cartoon. Because as has been rumored, or as has been reported, Boulder Media is producing a new Micronauts cartoon. And since we know Fatal Fluffies was one of the characters that Hasbro gave to Cullen Bunn to say, "Hey, use this character."
Yeah.
They were developed. She was developed by the movie people. I think that this set is sort of going to foreshadow what we're going to see in this eventual Micronauts movie or cartoon. And I think that's the thing, like Quintilis being the time traveler, or this new Oberon, or the reinterpretations of Gamatron and Betatron. I think those, that's the thing. I think those are going to be influenced by this cartoon.
Yeah,
and that's
it definitely seems like that.
Yeah.
On a related note, I saw some photographs of the other sides of the box today, and instead of the name Microspace, the name Microsia, or like Microsia, is used for the universe that the Micronauts are from. So I'm guessing that's another thing that Hasbro have developed for the upcoming cartoon and such.
Yeah, so I don't know, I'm kind of mixed on this, honestly. It's one of those things where, Acroyer, Baron Karza, Biotron, all look great, and hey, Finn's there. But as someone who, is mostly a fan of the when it comes to Micronauts, it's I don't know, I'm not really that attached to the Marvel series, in the same way I am the ROM. It's one of those things where, and of course these are brand new characters, so it's not even it makes sense they're going for the old stuff, so it's I don't know, I'm kind of, but I understand if this is all foreshadowing for a cartoon or a movie, it's I understand why they're doing it. So I'm kind of of two minds about it.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have sort of a more complete set of the IDW guys, certainly.
Yeah, have Larissa and Microtron and Oz and all that.
Yeah.
Ooh, and a Shazrayla. Shazrayla would have been awesome.
Oh, yes, that would have been nice.
Yeah, so...
Although, hey, maybe with, First Strikeout coming up, we could get, Shazrayla redecoed from a Transformer at some point.
Yes! Which, a lot of people I've been seeing are have been mistaking Shazrayla for Antagony.
Because it's the pink face.
Yeah. I've been one of those people that's guys, it's not Antagony, it's Shazrayla. But then someone noticed an ant transformer in the in the opening of that First Strike #1 preview.
Yeah,
and someone was maybe it's Antagony, but maybe Shazrayla interchanges with Antagony. And I was you got me there.
Yeah, because that's clearly what happens. She clearly interchanges with the Transformer and gets all big like Baron Karza has been doing with Micronauts in Latin Karza.
And it would explain the ant-like design of her, of Shazrayla. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. So, well, anyways, that was a lot of news.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some comic books. Mm-hmm. All right. So we have quite the collection of comics today. We have Transformers Till All Are One, number 11. G.I. Joe number 7. Gem and the Holograms, The Misfits, Gem and the Holograms, The Misfits, Infinite number 1, part 2 of the Infinite crossover. Yeah, I know. Micronauts Wrath of Karza number 3, and Optimus Prime number 9. So, let's get started with Transformers Till All Are One, number 11. Now this issue follows off on the heels of the last issue, where Starscream has convinced the Combaticons that they are his personal agents by going through and manipulating their memories. So, but of course, Windblade is still battling with Karza and all that from in her mind. And Starscream, he's kind of conflicted. He doesn't know exactly what he wants to do. Is he going to save Windblade? Is he, he's faced with, increasingly being a good guy, but not really knowing how to handle that. So, yeah. Callum, what did you think of this issue?
So yeah, it was of course, it was not as much of a wham issue as number 10, but what could be, frankly. But yeah. So yeah, it was a bit more of a sort of, routine issue. But sort of, we had lots of stuff going on, so yeah, we've got this whole idea of Windblade and, Karza. No, wait, that's not... Vigilum
right.
is his
No, yes.
Yeah, Windblade
right.
and Vigilum doing the whole sort of transform... And I assume this is like Margaret Scott doing a deliberate Transformers Prime reference, because she worked on Transformers Prime, but it's very much doing the Megatron inside Bumblebee's mind in the mid-season finale of Transformers Prime thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Villain escapes out through the mind link cable into the hero's mind, and they must do battle inside the mindscape.
Yeah, which, I mean, that whole scene, friggin' amazing. Like,
it's very... Yeah.
Oh my god, like Sarah, like that's the thing. We like the fact that we see Vigilum take on become evil Windblade, and we see Windblade get all getting all this extra gold pieces, which kind of makes her look like her Combiner Hunters look.
Yeah, the sort of it is kind of it's directly based on it. Kind of there's one panel where sort of she's gotten the kind of new color scheme, but before she gets all the kind of extra armor, in which she is kind of straight up the exact Combiner Hunter's design, more or less.
Yeah, so it's
that's cool. It's a very cool sequence, and it would be incredibly cool to get a Vigilum toy out of one of the Windblade figures.
Yeah,
with a nice evil head. That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I'm sure that's gonna kit bashes are gonna do that.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that we'll see a Hasbro official one, but
perhaps not.
Yeah,
perhaps.
I don't know. Just because it is such a little thing, it's if Fun Pub was still around, they'd do it. But but definitely I think I've already seen digibashes and stuff for it. So it's yeah, that was such a great scene. Sarah's art on that knocks it out of the park. But the rest of the issue is really much more. It continues to focus on Starscream.
Yeah, it's sedate the pace of the rest of the issue. Yeah.
Yeah, especially because after Bumblebee really chews him out, we see Starscream go, and he's like, Bumblebee, buddy, where are you? I don't need you. I don't need you. I'm Starscream. I'm awesome. It would be nice to talk to somebody. It's
yeah. But yeah, it's nice to get lots of sort of Starscream kind of character work in this issue. Just sort of him on his own, alone with his thoughts. It's kind of alone with his thoughts for the first time in sort of several years of story. In fact.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting to see.
Yeah, and it's it's one of those things where, the way it just kind of jumps, like the panels just jump to different things, and he's clearly trying to have that conversation, but nobody's there, and he's all this is petty, It's it's just great stuff, and we also see more with the Combaticons, particularly. Swindle's alive!
Yeah. You're a total bastard, Swindle, but kind of like you anyway, and I'm glad you're alive.
Especially, I always imagine Swindle with the voice of animated Swindle, whose actor I'm forgetting.
Fred Willard.
I can't remember either.
It's Fred Willard, guys.
So yeah, but I always imagine him with that voice, and it's just like, you're such a charming bastard, Swendell. I love it. So yes. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It definitely, if I had one criticism of this issue, it doesn't feel like a penultimate issue. It does not feel like this is the, like next issue is the final issue. And part of that is because we have the annual coming up, and part of that is just because this is much of a more personal story. And so, and of course, and of course we also see more of Arachnid being all manipulaty and sinister and all that. So,
but yeah, after the second arc, the Titans Return arc being very much a sort of big action piece, this third and final arc is back to being kind of just a character piece. So yeah, it does mean that everything's kind of, it's a bit quieter, but there's not a lot going on in terms of like events happening, but there's a lot going on with the characters.
Yeah, and the big one is Starscream and his personal journey and all that. What's interesting to note though is that last panel.
Well, I'll say this isn't a wham issue, but like you got a bit of a wham there.
Yeah, it's a wham moment. The question is Bumblebee out? Or, because I mean, we haven't seen any other suggestion that Bumblebee is present, but so like, is the question, did he just like stop sending messages, or did he just, and then he's back and he's like just wanted Starscream to admit it to himself, or like what does that final panel mean? It's like, there's so many honestly, implications.
I've never been quite convinced. Like after the Transformers annual that revealed that Bumblebee was alive inside the Singularity, I'm still not entirely convinced though that it's that real Bumblebee that has been talking to Starscream. Like,
you think Starscream's crazy?
I think. Well, because if kind of the ghost of Bumblebee is actually Bumblebee communicating from within the Singularity, that means he has like straight up lied to Starscream about being a hallucination, because Ghost Bumblebee has acknowledged being a hallucination. And like, I don't know, like lying to Starscream about being a hallucination feels a bit out of character for Bumblebee, but then I guess you can also see how he might do it because he thinks it's for Starscream's own good.
Yeah.
Him hanging around to be his conscience. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Because like his dialogue, like real Bumblebee's dialogue on that final page doesn't necessarily say that it is him that's been talking out from beyond the grave, well, beyond the Singularity.
Yeah.
I don't know. And because it's not the same design either. Like Ghost of Bumblebee is his design from the bulk of RID Season 1.
True.
Kind of like as compared to being the Goldfire design that he sort of died in, which kind of always seemed to imply that it was sort of Starscream remembering Bumblebee as he sort of remembered him most, because Bumblebee had only looked like the Goldfire design for like, I suppose it was probably like literally like a day or a couple of days in universe.
Yeah.
But who knows? I'm willing to be proven wrong, and that it is actually Bumblebee communicating from out of the Singularity.
The big thing as far as this issue goes is just the fact that if Bumblebee's a hallucination, why did he cast a shadow?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the thing, and who knows? Maybe it's gonna be like not Bumblebee. It's gonna be
somebody else.
Yeah, just who has a a similar design.
Cliff Jumper.
Yeah, like Cliff. Yeah, it's Cliff Jumper.
And the next issue was just Cliff Jumper like punching Starscream in the face in his sleep.
Yes. Yeah, so...
Yeah. And I suppose actually, yeah, because the Bumblebee that appears in the final panel clearly is aware of Starscream having hallucinations, so... Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it is Bumblebee communicating via, like, radio telepathy from the singer. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, certainly
issue.
this is a panel to ponder over.
Yeah.
But then, because thinking about it, because there has been zero evidence of Bumblebee sort of being in First Strike, for instance.
Right.
You kind of would expect if next issue was, yeah, Bumblebee's back and he's a real physical person again, pootling around Autobot City. I mean, maybe they've just done a really good job of disguising that fact. But, well, they definitely didn't do that about Baron Ironblood.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe they did do that for Bumblebee. I don't know. But yeah,
I'm with you, man. I have no idea.
It's interesting, and yeah, I eagerly await Tallulah 112 to find out just what's going on.
And we'll also, in that issue, learn what will be the final fate of Starscream and Windblade. Well, kinda. I mean, we kind of know what's... Well, we know that they at least survive. Their bodies, at least.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's something that the First Strike previews have not done a good job of hiding.
Yeah. Well, but, and, yeah. I mean, and just the announcement about the annual, so...
Oh, yeah, true.
But is it really Starscream? Is it really Windblade?
But yeah, and then on a final Tallulah 1 related, well, Starscream even related note, we discovered also this weekend at SDCC that this Starscream design that Starscream has had since issue 5 has actually, we have been staring in the face all this time the design for a brand new Starscream toy. It turns out, this new Starscream body he's had since 5 wasn't a new design Sarah did, it was one she was handed from Hasbro, and which has been developed into a new Voyager class toy out in the Power of the Primes line. So,
yes. Who may or may not be a combiner torso?
He's totally a combiner torso.
I mean...
Yeah.
What, though?
Their feet on his arms. You can see the ankle tilts. But yeah, he's a worst kept secret than Baron Ironblood's identity. But yeah, he has combiner feet on his arms. He's a combiner. So actually, yeah, again, all sorts of sort of Tallulah 1 inspired fun to be had. You can make like a Starscream combiner with Combaticon limbs. Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, and continuing the run of IDW Starscream having bodies that are actual toys. Because before this he had the Combiner Wars leader, and before that he had the Thrilling 30 Armada Deluxe, and before that he had the War for Cybertron design, which was also a deluxe.
Yeah, so he is just keeping those toy bodies.
Yeah. But
which
yeah,
I still think that whole Armada Starscream body thing was lame, because I couldn't see it as anyone else. Like, it's like, no, Armada Starscream, why are you doing that? Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's neat, but yeah. I did
so...
another Tallulah 1 Starscream you can have as a toy. It was cool.
Yeah. But all in all, one more issue and then an annual for Transformers Tallulah 1. It's been one heck of a ride, so... Mm-hmm. But hey, it's not over yet. We got one more issue.
No.
So, looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Next up, G.I. Joe number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna be right out the gate with this. Nothing happened in this issue.
Harsh but true. Yeah, like we essentially get the second half of the fight with like big old rock and roll
with
and
fatal rock and roll.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Well, no, I'm trying to think of a better.
Yeah, that's lame.
rock and fluff. That doesn't work.
I like it. Rock and fluff.
And Doc gets to show off her Dire Wraith powers, so that's neat.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's mostly a fight scene, though. This pretty much the good chunk of the issue is Skywarp fighting mutated rock and roll. There's a brief scene where Snake Eyes and Helix fight a Fatal Fluffy. Duke is there for like half a second, takes the Baroness away. There's like a really weird interlude with some football players, as you would refer to them. But other than that, it's like there's really not a whole lot that happened in this issue. I hate to say it. It's like it's rather uneventful.
It's the one ongoing problem with this book is that it's really decompressed. Like it's really funny and it's like an enjoyable sort of upbeat kind of kooky sci-fi take on G.I. Joe, but it's really decompressed.
Yeah. But I mean, even then it's like I would still say that pretty much every past issue of Joe has had something like significant happen. Either they establish the the dreadnought, the dreadnoughts are working with Cobra or Crystal Ball doing stuff. I don't know. It just felt like this issue didn't really add much of anything. It's very much felt written for the trade, and that's, for me as a monthly reader, that's not, that's a huge strike. I'm sorry, in my book.
Yeah, it is all a bit. It's a bit sort of shuffling your sort of pieces around the board, like. So yeah, like Duke is shuffled. Yeah, Duke and his prisoners are shuffled off towards The Hague, which is clearly how these footballers are going to play into it because they're also flying to The Hague.
Yeah,
and we've got set up for a mission to stop the Fatal Fluffies by blowing up the cavern where they're apparently hatching out of eggs. Are they eggs? I think they're eggs.
I think, they definitely It looks like a xenomorph clutch. Honestly, is the first thing I thought. Yeah. But it's like, wait! You're gonna blow up the little babies, little cute adorable babies? You're gonna blow them up? No, don't do that.
And then there's then finally there is set up for, and like I have to say, I'm really excited for Quick Kick to beat the crap out of Snake Eyes.
Yes, which is like the cover for the next issue, which I'm down. Yeah.
Snake Eyes is just the worst. It's like he is a terrible team member. Like, that's just a fact. He refuses to work with anyone apart from Helix, who he seems to just like tolerate, apparently. And just goes out of his way to be as awkward for everyone else as possible. And I'm really excited for Quick Kick to beat him in a fight.
But he looks cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where, like, I honestly forgot Snake Eyes was, like, in this book. Because Revolution... Because in Revolution, he's been out of Joe for a while, and then it's like we've gone so many issues without him, so it's like, oh yeah, he's actually like still a part of G.I. Joe, right? I honestly forgot about that. Well, okay, and question for you, since you've read more IDW Joe than I have, Helix. She felt a little... Her speech pattern felt a little out of character. Like, but I'm just basing that on what I've seen from Revolution and what I've heard from others. Like, would you say that's so?
It kind of varies. At times they, in old kind of IDW Joe, they, really played up the sort of television autism characterization.
Yeah.
But other times she's just like a person that hangs around with Snake Eyes. and explains what Snake Eyes is thinking for the benefit of the reader. Like, that's Helix's job for good chunks of old IDW Joe, is, hang around with Snake Eyes and have one-sided conversations so that the reader knows what Snake Eyes is thinking.
Okay. Alright. So yeah, I just remember her only speaking in very, like, short sentences, like, in Revolution, and then, like... And of course I knew the sort of iffy thing about her character, which...
Yeah, like, she's Citizen definitely has a different character voice to her than, like, in Revolution, certainly, yeah.
Yeah. But honestly, I don't have a lot to say about this issue because, like I said, not a lot happened, so...
Well, yeah, it's the dead middle of this second arc, and you can kind of tell.
Yeah. So...
It is very much a middle issue in which things are shuffled into place, so the stuff can happen next issue.
Yeah.
Because our big cliffhanger is that Rock and Roll volunteers to sacrifice himself to blow up the Fatal Fluffy nest, which seems like I don't know about you, but reading the issue, it felt like a sort of weird sort of that escalated quickly sort of moment in that, like, there's no time pressure, right? What's to stop them just noting the fact that, okay, the nest is here, and going back and getting some more equipment and doing it later, rather
That's
than
actually a really good point.
Committing suicide to do it. It felt a bit like found myself thinking, wait, why is this happening? But
yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, the thing. You know the Fatal Fluffies, like, unless it's like you just really don't want to have to deal with. Yeah, it definitely seems like a little weird.
Like,
well, yeah.
There's no indication that, like, the Fatal Fluffies are about to sort of wreck a city or anything. They're like, as far as we've been shown, they're just kind of like popping up out of volcanoes and stuff and sort of like wandering around a bit. G.I. Joe beats them up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it did feel a bit like, oh, okay, Rock and Roll, like, really? But
yeah. And then, of course, Skywarp saw, alright, I'm gonna help you, but then as soon as you set the bomb, I'm jetting out of there. It's like, come on, Rock, or come on, Sky, like, you know you're gonna save him at the end, and, like, I don't think Skywarp is gonna leave him to die. I mean, it's like, I don't expect that at all.
Skywarp's character arc in this book has so far just been about him sort of, like, reluctantly being like, oh, fine, and sort of being a slightly more of a team player.
Yeah.
Which I do like. Like, Skywarp hasn't stopped being a massive jerk when he's joined G.I. Joe.
Yes.
He's not suddenly a sort of
He's not suddenly a good guy. He's
still Skywarp.
He's, I want you to fix my teleportation, and then I'm going to leave. You know. But yes, but that's pretty much everything for Joe. So let's talk about the Misfits.
Yeah.
I
am excited to hear what you think about the art on this, because the Jensen Onge, I love her art. It was fantastic on the Misfits mini, and it's still fantastic in this.
I really liked it. Yeah. I mean, it was different from the first issue, but it's...
absolutely.
But it's... I dug it. I thought it was great. This is definitely, like... The thing, it's... It had a lot more focus on the Misfits, and I kind of see why they're kind of splitting it up into the two series. Like, towards the end, because basically, they... At the end of the last issue, they followed them through the portal, and the Misfits followed Gem and the Holograms through the portal. Now they're on the alternate Earth, where apparently hologram technology got out, like, to the public, fell into the wrong hands, and has created this Gem utopian society for, like, the upper 1%. But who can afford hologram technology, but, like, everywhere else is like a wasteland. So
it's basically the Hunger Games.
Yeah,
it's cool. So I'll give it a pass.
Yes, I mean, well, it's any sci-fi dystopia, alternate Earth, really, but
Yeah, but we got the sort of the kooky fashion for the elites, and it's gloriously kooky fashion. I love it.
It really is.
The whole accessories as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. One thing that caught me off guard though was when I first opened it was when Jerrica didn't have her gem. I was like, wait, who's that? Oh, it's Jerrica. Oh, wait, that's what she looks like in this series? Because I was saying, because I didn't realize it at first, but, and then of course, everyone, she tells Pizzazz and the rest that she's Gem, and they're all like, yeah.
But yeah, Jerrica cut her hair actually between the first and second arcs of the original ongoing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was sort of shoulder lengthy, but then she cut it short.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like previous Gens and Ong issues, this issue is a rich source of reaction face images.
It really is. After just the moment after after Jerrica sings, and all the Misfits are like, whoa, and then Pizzazz is like, froggy face.
Yeah. But yeah, that sulky Pizzazz face is great.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they all get hologram makeovers. All the Misfits do, which is
they're so great. They're kind of alternate universe fashion costumes to everyone. I love them. Jerrica's with the ridiculous hologram glasses, and that's so great.
Yeah. And Pizzazz is just not happy about this whatsoever. She's just she hates this so much. But yeah, but it's one of those things where last time we talked about Gem Infinite, we brought up the fact that we didn't quite understand why they were doing the Gem stuff and the Misfit, why they were splitting it up into two series. Why not just do a single Gem Infinite miniseries? This issue answers that question by establishing that, hey, the Misfits are going to go out, find their alternate universe counterparts, out in the wasteland, while the holograms are going to go take care of stuff in the city. That's actually really clever,
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually establishing there's a reason for why there's two different series. And overall, I mean, that's the thing. It was mostly this issue was a lot of more interaction with the Misfits, which again, as a new reader, which is kind of introducing me to a lot of these characters, and it's and I'm really digging it. Also, Kimber and Stormer continue to be so adorable. Love it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Callum, what did you think?
Oh no, yeah, I enjoyed this issue. It's definitely got the sort of early part of kind of an event story syndrome to a degree, where it's mostly sort of getting everything ready for sort of the big stuff to happen. But there's lots of fun kind of character interactions going on, and yeah, the art's lovely, and yeah, I like this issue.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep gushing over the kind of hologram outfits just because they're so cool. I love them.
They are really cool. Well, I like how there's that final last shot of when the Misfits see the world outside the wall, and Pizzazz's holograms is creating skulls around her. It's
yeah. And actually, no, that's not her holograms. That is just a thing that Pizzazz does. When Pizzazz gets angry, skulls spontaneously appear in the air around her.
I love her. I love her so much.
That is that's an ongoing thing with Pizzazz, is that when she is angry, that is represented visually with angry skulls drawn around her.
Yes. I really need to get caught up on Gem. Holy crap.
No, yeah. IDW Pizzazz is a brilliant character. She's kind of really enjoyable as a bit kind of as a villain, but she's also sort of a kind of a relatable character, especially with the Misfits miniseries, which is really good in particular.
Yeah.
This was a really good issue, I thought.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We learned a bit more about this alternate universe with Jim Corp and all that. So my question is, like, this thing, they, like, and the little promo for Part 3 seemed to indicate that Synergy was sort of going to be the main villain. I'm thinking, what if it's not Synergy who's the villain? What if it's Jerica? What if
I've been assuming that, I think, since we kind of found out that it was sort of holograms everywhere world, that like it is going to be like evil businesswoman Jerica as our sort of arch villain.
Yes. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, overall, I really enjoyed it. I definitely would recommend, like I did with the first issue, I would definitely recommend this series to newbies. To, you know, if you've heard a lot, like, because that's the thing, if you've heard a lot about Gem and the holograms, and you want to get into it, I definitely say this is sort of a good, like, little sampler of the Misfits series, based on what Callum has told me, and so I really enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend it. But yeah, other than that, I actually don't have a whole lot to say.
Yeah, no, it is, again, it's not an issue in which a huge amount of stuff happens, because it is kind of...
It's mostly exposition.
It's literally a second issue one. I was going to say it's kind of like a second issue one, but no, it is actually a second issue one. And so it is in part concerned with, having you meet the Misfits properly, which, like you were saying, in the last episode, you didn't quite get to meet the Misfits properly in the first part, because that happens here.
Yeah. So
it's all kind of like necessary kind of stuff that is going on, even if it's not kind of plot stuff that's going on.
Yeah,
it's such a nice issue to look at.
Yes. Alrighty, so next up, let's talk about Micronauts, The Wrath of Karza, number 3. So, first off, I love the opening pages on this.
It's the best thing. I think I posted on Twitter a while ago, the only thing better than, a kooky children's toy line villain is a cabal of kooky children's toy line villains from different franchises.
Yes.
Because, we have our conference call on the first page. And it's great.
Yes,
so
and where basically Baron Karza calls up all the other villains in the Hasbro universe and is like, hey, so I'm gonna take over the world, and you all are gonna be my, and you're all gonna work for me. And Destro's like, you think we're gonna be your lieutenants? And Baron Karza just says, my barons. And it's like, ugh, chills. Honestly, I got chills just looking at it. But this thing, he calls up. Let's see, Tomax, Miles Mayhem, Dr. X, Destro, Baron Ironblood, Ironclaw, Caleb Awan, the Dire Wraith leader, and what appears to be Storm Shadow.
Yeah, that's Storm Shadow. Yeah.
Yeah, and oddly enough, the odd one out is Razor Claw, from the leader of the Predacons from Transformers. So,
well, I mean, he's not the odd one out in so much as he's clearly been included because he was working for all these guys. Well, not all these guys, but he was working for like Team Iron in Revolutionaries.
Yeah.
But as has been pointed out, it doesn't quite make sense because he was like a brainwashed slave of. So why would he be in the conference call? But I assume that is just the case, is that the writers here didn't actually like read Revolutionaries in full, rather than it being like him somehow surviving Cup blowing his head up.
Yeah, so this does place the time a little weird, but let's face it, this is Micronauts. It's a time travel book. Time is always weird.
It's not that weird. Because if you do take this as being before Revolutionaries 4, it's not particularly sort of egregious. Like, I think, like, it means that it actually helped. I'm the kind of person that does this, but yeah, it is. If this is firmly before Revolutionaries 4, because of Razor Claw, it does mean you can line up a lot of stuff in like order. So, like, say, like, the M.A.S.K team's appearance in the first issue of Wrath of Karza must therefore be before their appearance in Revolutionaries 6 out next week. And yeah, you can line up a few things. It all kind of works. And because, like, from the perspective of kind of Optimus Prime and co, this is, I'm guessing, between the first two arcs of Optimus Prime. Like, after the after the Junkion invasion, but before all the business with Jazz goes down, because Jazz is also in this.
Yeah. So that's the thing. This definitely now does kind of make me want to put together like a chronology or something of this happened.
Doing it.
See, my man is already on this stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to pin down until I'm waiting till Optimus Prime and Tallulah 1 finish their final arcs to sort of try and pin everything down for good, because like it's hard to tell at the minute with whether the current arc of Tallulah 1 or the current arc of Optimus Prime is happening first, for instance.
Yeah. Well, and then, you have to factor in First Strike and the M.A.S.K annual and all that,
the M.A.S.K annual, like,
is a weird...
if it's going to fit anywhere, it's going to have to be between M.A.S.K 10 and First Strike, just because it can't happen yet, because they've got the Boulder Hill base and Venom's out of prison.
But the weird thing is Cliff.
Well, yeah, but then Rodriguez is working on First Strike, so if he's gonna kind of be anywhere, like,
hopefully Cliff should. That's the thing. I just want like a proper introduction to like or establishing of when did Cliff actually join. But anyways, that's getting off topic.
It is rather, yes.
Yeah. Back on topic. This issue picks up. This was a much better issue of Wrath of Karza than it's the second issue.
It's the most eventful issue so far.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and it kind of makes me feel like this is probably my favorite issue so far that we've seen, because it definitely went back to that feeling that I like the enjoyment that I had when with the first arc of Micronauts, which I think is still really solid.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it felt sort of pacier in the way that early stuff did. And it's sort of a sort of really sort of tight knit, sort of everything's happening very fast, sort of calamitous kind of adventure kind of feel.
Yeah. It picks up right where the other follows right where the last one ended. So Larissa and Microtron are gonna go save their friends, and to do that, Microtron builds the Trons. Yes, we have Alphatron, Betatron, Gammatron, all of which were based on classic Micronauts toys. Which I'm not sure if those toys were or if they were supposed to be vehicles, or if they were supposed to be like robots. I
think they are technically supposed to be vehicles, ridiculous vehicles.
Yes, but in this they've been reinterpreted, to line up with the Biotron and Microtron. They are reinterpreted as robots. And of course we also get a new character who's not based on an old toy, at least not as far as I know. Callum, correct me if I'm wrong. Megatron.
Yeah, no, I hadn't thought about that. But I think there are only 3 original toys, yeah.
Yeah, there's Alphatron, Betatron, and Gammatron, and then I believe Omegatron is new. I'm sure he's probably made up of
some parts. Yeah,
some actual parts. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if this is one of those characters that Cullen Bunn made when he was or Jimmy Johnson made when they were little kids playing with their Micronauts toys. but he does look to have like some familiar parts. And can I just say the Trons are fun, and I hope they don't die. I hope this. That's the thing. It's like I'm kind of afraid of them, like afraid for them. I'm like, I feel like they're gonna die, but I don't want them to because they're funny. It's like
they're brilliantly just ridiculous because you can tell from the art, but the original toys are just utterly ridiculous. They are
they really are
complete nonsense. Like, who thought this was a good idea? That this was like a good product you could sell to people? Because they're ridiculous.
They move so weird. Like, I saw a commercial, like one of the Micronauts commercials for them, and it's like they move so strangely. It's like,
well, yeah, it's like a motorized car, but then you attach like arms and stuff to the wheels. Just they sort of flail weirdly along like a sort of dying animal or something.
Yeah. But I think hands down my favorite is Omegatron, for he is swift, violent, robotic death. It's like, love it. But this thing, this was a much more action-packed issue. Like, we see them going and rescuing Oz and all them. And I think one of the best interactions in this issue, personally, was Wraith, because I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Wraith, and a Croyer, and we get to see like a little who is like being reprogrammed, or is like reconditioned and all that, and we see like what he looks like underneath the mask, or underneath
and his, it's not pleasant armor. Like, gosh,
no.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's a much more action-packed issue, and I think the more action actually helped it, really the pacing move a lot better than previous issues had.
Well, it's action-packed, but the action kind of stuff is happening. Like, the action is taking the story places. Like, because like early in the second volume, you had like 2 whole issues that were sort of entirely action-packed, but it was literally just 2 issues of them getting away from the humans.
It's characters are interacting. They're like, having it's action plus snappy dialogue plus moving the plot forward. Whereas sometimes we'd have one without the other. So, I will. We also get we get another, and I've got to say I'm kind of getting sick of them now. We got another Ron Joseph Time Travelers spread, and it's like, yes, they were cool, but why does every issue have to have one?
It's just getting really strange at this point. Like, let's pause everything so that Baron Karza can like blather about time travelers for 2 pages, and this and really slowly unfold some kind of story about how the entropy storm is like one specific time traveler or something.
Yeah, it just seems like, I don't know, it just seems like a waste of pages, honestly, at this point. It's
the visuals are quite cool.
Yes. But they don't do anything for the story. Really. Yeah. They really don't. I will say this about those pages, though. There is actually a really a kind of a cool scene where one of the time travelers shows Baron Karza a vision, and it's of a little kid with a ROM T-shirt playing with the original Baron Karza and Force Commander action figures. That's actually pretty cool. I kind of...
It's like the whole sort of Transformers Heart of Darkness. Galvatron goes into the Dead universe, and Leonard Nimoy and Frank Welker's heads are floating past, kind of weird meta kind of thing.
Yeah.
There are some cool visuals in this sequence, like a few panels afterwards, the bit where sort of like a bunch of sort of time travelers are sitting kind of cross-legged on things and kind of morph into Baron Karza heads, and it's all kind of it's kind of interesting and sort of like cool visually, but it just stops the whole issue dead, so the Baron Karza can blather to no plot. End. And it's
yeah, and of course the issue ends with saying that with the Micronauts breaking free and saying they're going to need some help from their friends on Earth, and we see a shot of RC, Jazz, and Optimus Prime imprisoned, which technically means that not only is Aw Yeah Revolution Baron Karza a collector, Main Universe Baron Karza is too.
Yeah.
Boom. All Baron Karzas are secretly giant nerds. Confirmed.
Actually, I was just thinking about the scale in that last page, but I guess it does kind of make sense. Like the little kind of little Acroyas are kind of about. They're smaller than RC's tires, which seems reasonable.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Transformers are huge, and the Micronauts are supposed to be like 6 inches and all that. So.
It's kind of. I don't know why I'm saying this now all times, but I do still really like the kind of concept of Micronauts being action figures who are like 1-to-1 scale.
Yes.
It's a cute idea, kind of just like a base idea for a toy line is that the action figures and the characters are actually the action figures.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't that the whole, that was the kind of the whole conceit of the original Microman toy line was, these are actual living beings disguised as toys, which, as SF Debris once put it, apparently in Japan that's not a bedwetting, terrifying concept. But yes, so Micronauts Wrath of Karza number 3, solid issue.
Yeah, no, definitely the best of the mini so far.
Yeah.
It's been a lot more lively and pacey, and and I guess next issue will feature the Transformers in a more significant capacity. It seems like 4 and 5 is going to be a full-blown Ultimate and RC and Jazz team up with the Micronauts to save the day.
And who knows if maybe we'll see some of the other characters. That's saying with all the. Oh, that's another thing that we got off track and we didn't mention. I did like the Miles Mayhem was the one being all like these other people may not know who you are, but I do, and I will not let some minuscule alien take away my Earth. All that. That's my Miles Mayhem voice, by the way. And so it's like that was actually like a clever thing. Address the fact that they worked together, and it did not. Yeah. Although I kind of wanted Caleb Wan to jump in and say,
sure.
you absorbed me. That was unpleasant. Just to be like, yes, you absorbed me, and that was very unpleasant. I'm not going to work with you at all. But yeah, so.
But no, a decent issue.
Yeah.
And like the Andrew Griffith art continues to be very nice as well.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's interesting seeing actually the. This is going to be a character. Yeah, it's interesting seeing the Andrew Griffith lines with it's still Amber Zarate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because like after sort of several years of seeing Andrew Griffith with nothing but prior talents, it's interesting to see.
Last but certainly not least, Optimus Prime number 9. Whoa, boy.
Yeah.
So, funny story before we get started. I was actually on vacation when this issue came out, and could not actually get a hold of a physical issue. So I actually read it on my phone because everyone was freaking out about it, and I was like, okay, everyone's saying it's amazing. Something with the ending. Okay, I gotta go in. I gotta read this before it gets ruined for me.
A digital.
So
stooped to read digital.
Yeah. So good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
what an issue.
I dare say this is probably the best issue of Optimus Prime so far.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, and arguably one of the best single issue stories of Transformers in like the past several years. Like,
yeah. So, that's the thing. I want to say this. Like, we don't usually worry about this, but if you have not read Optimus Prime #9, go read it. Like, get it on Comixology. Go read it, because we can't help but discuss some big spoilers about it, and it's one of those things where everyone should read this. Like, it's such a good issue. Yeah, so if you haven't read it, pause this, go read it, come back, and then listen. So, and as we talk about the life of Sideswipe. You back? Alrighty. The life of Sideswipe? That's what you call this, barber? I don't even care about Sideswipe. I really don't. Like, I'm not like a Sideswipe fan or anything.
Sideswipe he is number one popular for no reason G1 guy.
See, I didn't actually realize this. Like, everyone was saying, like, people were saying that. I'm like, really? Sideswipe's, like, super popular?
Yeah, no, it's the thing, like, I mean, he got the first, like, car masterpiece, didn't he? He's, like, randomly one of the playable characters in that Transformers Devastation game, alongside, like, actual characters. Like Optimus Prime and Bumblebee and Wheeljack and Grimlock. And, yeah, like, everyone loves Sideswipe for no clear reason.
Yeah, I mean... I
am not a person who has traditionally cared about Sideswipe. Like, I have enjoyed the sort of John Barber Sideswipe who just, like, loves a fight, and that's, like, basically his entire personality. He's generally been a laugh, but one doesn't feel things about Sideswipe normally.
Yeah, I mean, he was...
Until now.
Yeah, because, I mean, the life of Sideswipe is over. Sideswipe, he died, and this whole issue is just one of the most beautiful, like just they handled it so well. Having the whole story be one of those a nemopathic projector. Where the whole story is, and it's a really beautiful story about Sideswipe, learning, learning to let go of fighting, and to not always be focused on fighting the enemy and fighting the war, but to that everything can think that we can move on, that he can move on from the war.
Yeah, and the ending he fought for was ultimately worth it.
Yeah.
It's such a sweet issue. It's sad and all.
Yeah. I mean,
feeling things about Sideswipe. Like, what's this? God.
Yeah. Yeah, so... Yeah. And that's the thing. And, like, Keizama's art on this was just... Like, he is fantastic. Like... such good stuff. That's the thing. There's also kind of a G2 Sideswipe sort of homage.
Got the kind of bandolier.
Bandolier. The entire pose is like straight up lifted from that G2 issue. So, but yeah, it's like I hate to say it, but it's like one of those things where, like, outside of artistic notes, it's like, other than this, just like, I didn't see it coming. honestly, like
No, it took me by surprise. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw people talking about the ending and all that, and so I was like, okay. But it's like, even when, like, you know, Brett Gar was there with a full body and, like, Soundwave was there, I still, like, I was like, I was a little confused by Soundwave, and then but then, like, at the end I was like, oh. It was not something I was expecting at all, so.
Yeah, it's a page turn and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and just... Yeah. So, Barber has friggin' topped himself with this issue. It's like,
yeah. Oh.
Yeah. That's saying, like... I do love how, like... Because there was this issue, and then the previous issue was number 8, which was very much a jazz-focused thing, and was also very personal, but it didn't, like, was also kind of a very personal thing, but it also had some of the baggage of, being weighed down by the, jazz, it's like, humans hate, humans don't like him, and all that, and some of that other stuff, but this, because of the nature of it all being, basically a dream, was allowed to just really be a solid, focused on Sideswipe story, and
actually, yeah, because we also, for the first time, the flashbacks, this entirely present day story, kind of, it deserved to be, I think, yeah.
Oh yeah. So, and next issue, I am gearing up for, because next issue is a Galvatron the Barbarian story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't beat a bit of Galvatron. He's a great villain.
He really was. Yeah. And we're also apparently going to get to see more of RC's backstory, which we kind of is hinted at, like, because RC says that mentions a brother that she hasn't mentioned before. And
yeah, I thought upon finishing this issue, I was like, oh, she was talking about Sideswipe when she was talking about her brother. But apparently John Barber has confirmed that she did really have a brother, and that we will learn about him. So I'm intrigued by that.
Yeah.
I have to assume its next issue is going to be where we learn about him.
Yeah. Which has created some people are theorizing that Galvatron is going to be RC's brother. I don't think that's gonna. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
I don't think the dialogue lines up for that.
No, I don't. Yeah, I was gonna say, unless that dialogue is really sort of, she's like using some really sort of heavy metaphors when she's talking to Sideswipe. I don't see how it could be Galvatron.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's easy to talk about things that are bad. It's hard to talk about things that are good, because you just say it's really good, I like it, go read it. So
yeah, this issue is kind of it pulls off what it sets out to do fantastically.
Yeah,
what it's trying to do is fantastic. It's a really good issue. It does speak to sort of John Barber's kind of diversity as a Transformers writer, because, like I say, a Simon Furman issue of Transformers is always a Simon Furman issue of Transformers. A James Roberts issue of Transformers is always a James Roberts issue of Transformers. But John Barber can write an issue like this, or he can write an issue that is just entirely comedy, and both can be really good.
Yeah, he's definitely a very versatile writer. He's able to do deep personal stories like this, and he's able to do big, action-packed events like Revolution, so...
Or, like, literally just an entire issue that's a gag issue, like, kind of the Revolution Transformers one shot.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
That entire issue is one, like, big gag, essentially.
Yeah. So... Oh, and, can I just say, I loved, Zama sneaking in just a ton of little Easter eggs, like Megadeth.
Yeah, great stuff.
Megadeth is in here. Let's see.
It's a mud flap.
Skids and Mudflap. Yes. Okay.
Skids and...
I know a lot of people hate on Skids and Mudflap, and I understand why.
They're very unfortunate, but I have a sort of weird affection.
Me too. I mean, maybe it's just from when I was younger and watching Revenge of the Fallen and just not seeing it where everyone else saw it. But it's like, I was like, hey, I kind of like these two. And then, of course, I was like, oh, yeah, they're tugs that collar. But you know what? I say, you know what? They didn't have any speaking lines, so maybe this is good. So you know what? I can headcanon these Skids and Mudflap to sound and act like whatever I want. And I think these are great Skids and Mudflap.
And then we got RID Fix It next to them, and apparently was drawn to look like Britannica, but has been coloured like Prime RC.
Yeah.
And somebody with the Hunter's Ripclaw design flying up in the same panel.
Yeah.
And I just want to take a moment to say, like, Beast Hunter's Ripclaw is such a good toy. Like, if you can pick up one second hand for like a reasonable price, do, because she's a fantastic toy. I love her.
Yeah.
Like, she's a nice little, nice to fiddle with. Has 2 nice modes. And it's sort of a pity that, the only version of that mold to get characterization was not a version that you could actually buy as a toy, the Circuit in the Rage of the Dinosaurs comic. But I'm sure Ripclaw would be a good character if anyone actually used her as a character in anything.
I'll write it down for the project. The super secret project that I'm working on. But that's the thing. Well, Circuit also got she was also in Beast Wars Uprising, right?
Yeah. I've just read, actually. I've just been reading Head Games, the first story she's in. Yeah. Which, it's slightly odd her not being a sort of sinister zealot in it, but she gets gloomier by the end of it, so I can kind of see.
Yeah. I really need to reread Beast Wars Uprising.
Yeah, I'm trying to finish it before F Nation next month, so I can actually talk to Jim about it this year.
Yeah.
Because last year, I think I'd only kind of a couple of the stories. So,
yeah, you're going to TF Nation. You're going to get to meet people and say hi to people and hang out with people.
I should just, and in addition to the cameos in this issue, there's also just some really good generics. Like that guy who seems to turn into a crocodile that has like a big mouth painted onto his fist plates.
Yeah. Well, at first I thought it was like, is that supposed to be an Alicon or something? Yeah, no,
I at first thought it might be his actual mouth, but until it was pointed out to me that it's clearly painted.
Yeah. So. But yeah, but I mean overall, like, there's not a whole lot to say. Like, oh, I will say this. And like, lastly, like that scene with RC and Aileron, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful, just top notch, But
it was nice them getting to sort of have a bit of a scene together, because I don't think they have particularly. But yeah, it's nice that the two sort of main female Transformers in the book get a little scene to themselves.
Yeah. Well, and the few scenes they have had together have been like how RC's all stern warrior and grumpy and all that, and Aileron's all bright and cheerful and idealistic and religious and all that. And so it's like, so the fact that they kind of come together, it's like, and they talk about sort of their beliefs and sort of like, and there's like Aileron asks her, "Do you want me to go?" And she's like, "No, I want you to stay." It's like,
it's a sweet, our sweets are orange. It's a sweet scene.
Yes, it's excellent. So. But I think that will just about wrap it up for us today.
Yeah.
So,
next week we will be catching up on this week's, and it will be next week because, so we're releasing another episode a week after this to make up for missing a week, and that will be covering the books that came out this week that are already out. Ron vs. Transformers 1, we're looking forward to gushing about that, I assume.
Oh my god, yes. I have so many thoughts.
M.A.S.K number 8, which, spoiler alert, probably the best issue of M.A.S.K so far. Clue number 2, and then next week's books, which will be Revolutionary 6. It's that special time of slightly more...
It's revolutionary time!
Well, you get to read Revolutionaries. I think... No, is it? No, it's... Okay, no, so it's still, Revolutionaries is still only just 2 months behind the May issue that's about to come out. And Lost Light 8.
Yes. Yeah. Which that's the thing. We're gonna have another issue of Revolutionaries, which we always gush about, and we're gonna have Shining Armor, Ron versus Transformers to gush about. So it is going to be a fun week next week. Although I will say this about next week's Revolutionaries. It does have M.A.S.K in it, so.
But hey, I think be bad. And I can finally read the Atomic Man profile from the first Sourcebook issue.
Yes.
Because Revolutionary 6 is the Atomic Man issue. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's saying, pretty much most of what's established, what's in that will be sort of laid out, because we've already kind of seen the big thing, which is in those preview pages or preview images that John posted. So it's where we get to see Kid Detective Mike Power. So, yeah.
And it's occurring to me that the end of Revolutionaries is probably pretty out by the time First Strike starts, which may be in terms of spoilers. But we'll see.
We'll see what happens. Especially because we want to, I want to talk to John, have him on the show to talk about Revolutionaries when it ends and all that. So, but yeah.
So that is next week's lineup, and it is next week. Not time. I know we'll be back on schedule.
Yes. So look forward to that, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, you can find us on the Twitters at Hasbro U Podcast. We're also on Tumblr. We're on Tumblr now, which we really do need to be more active about that. So, we'll try to. It'll be so much easier
if you cross post. I need to investigate if you can cross post at the same time. You'll need the correction.
Yes, and you can find, and of course you can always find us listen to more episodes if this is your first time. You can listen to more at our Libsyn page at hasbrouniverse.libsyn.com, or you can find us on iTunes and Google Play. And if you're on iTunes and you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review. That's a great way to help us out. Callum, where can people find you on the internet?
I can be found on Twitter and Tumblr and various Transformers web forums and wikis, all under the username Kalagai, Kala, as in the Bionicle character.
Yes, and you can find me on Twitter at Daniel Adkins PRD, and just generally Daniel Adkins around the internet. You can find me on YouTube, where I talk about comic books and comic book related things. And of course you can also find me on Tumblr and around various Transformers boards and wikis under the name Daniel Adkins or Danny Boy. So, yeah, but that's really only on TFW, which I only pop in occasionally on. I don't know why.
Well.
But yes. But in any regard, that brings us to the end of our show. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good night.
See ya.
Or a good morning, or a good afternoon. I don't know what time you're listening to this. Bye!
Bye.